Gifted is directed by Marc Webb and stars Chris Evans as a guardian of a young girl who is incredibly smart. In fact, she's basically a genius. On her first day in school, she shocks the entire class and her teachers, and it eventually becomes very clear that this is a young child prodigy when it comes to math. So now we have a question. Could the next Einstein have a normal life while also being the next Einstein? And all the problems that come with trying to raise a young child who doesn't really necessarily want to be the next Einstein, but really likes going to the beach and having a cat and playing and being a little girl. I was pretty happy to see Marc Webb back directing a movie like this because I'm a big fan of 500 Days of Summer and not so much The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I feel like he's really at home in this film. This is a film that takes its time to have characters just sit around or walk around and talk. I really like that. It was so refreshing to see a film where characters aren't, walking around some green screen environment. There's no explosions. There's no action set pieces. This is just a film about characters. It's a small cast, but it's a big story. It's a story we've seen before. Jodie Foster made a movie in the 90s called Little Man Tate, which was also about a child prodigy. This isn't anything that we haven't really seen before, but what makes this movie special is the performances and its sense about its story. In pretty much every movie about a young child prodigy, there's usually some background war with adults where they're trying to argue about what's best for the child, and the child never really gets a say. In this film, it's less about that and more about, can a child have both? Can a kid be the next Albert Einstein while also going to the park and being a Girl Scout and just having a fun life as a kid? And this is where Chris Evans' character becomes really compelling to me because, as I said, he's her uncle and his sister has since passed away. So he's trying to honor some of her wishes while also realizing that he has one of the smartest children alive living with him. So he's trying to take into consideration a lot of different people's viewpoints on one little girl, while also just trying to make her smile and give her breakfast in the morning and all of the basic things that a child would need. And I found this movie very endearing, very heartfelt, extremely well acted. Chris Evans is really good in this movie. Also, Jenny Slate is terrific, but the real star of this movie is the little girl, Mckenna Grace, who is a star in the making. This will be difficult for her to find roles that aren't like that exact type of role because you know how Hollywood works. When you see a child actor in a film, you automatically start thinking of them that way. Macaulay Culkin dealt with that. He had a hard time getting roles that weren't like some cute little mischievous child. But I think she's good enough in this film to really break the mold and do other things in the future because her performance really is that good. And she did tug on my heartstrings fairly successfully. And that was something I was concerned about whenever I go to movies like this. I don't want them to be too sappy or too melodramatic, too Hallmark Channel. You guys know what I mean. And this film, I think, did it just right, except for a few moments towards the end. There's, as I said, some courtroom proceedings, and this film falls into that category of films where some legal stuff has to happen. Some stuff that will probably really bore the audience, so let's just kind of gloss over that and skip to what they really want to see. Whenever movies do that, I'm kind of like, okay, well, that was kind of a cheap way of continuing the story, but that's really my only major complaint with this movie. I found this to be an extremely enjoyable movie that had a lot of fantastic acting and was a unique perspective on a similar story that we have seen, with another really great supporting turn by Octavia Spencer, who, again, is in another really good movie about a girl who's good at math. Interesting. I just made that connection in my head. The most charming thing about the movie easily is the chemistry between Mckenna Grace and Chris Evans. This unlikely father-daughter pair, even though they're not actually father-daughter, I found totally believable and extremely lovable. This is the type of movie that I think more people should see. A movie like this could actually inspire people to want to make films or get into mathematics. We have a lot of really big, fun, super duper amazing movies that are going to be coming out this summer, but I hope more people see films like this. And it's currently playing in a semi-limited release, and I hope you guys do check it out because I think it's worth watching. I'm going to give Gifted a B+. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Stay tuned this weekend. I'm going to have a review for, as I said, another big, gigantic movie called Fate of the Furious. And this Sunday is a huge, really long video where my friend Matt and I talk about Alien 3. We have differing viewpoints on this film, and we wanted to talk about the pre-production, all the different script drafts of what could have happened and what eventually did happen, and talk about both cuts, the assembly cut and the theatrical. So look forward to that, guys. You're the best. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmannized.